I'm Reverend Adam Hansford, Executive Director for the Washington International Network for Students, located in Washington, D.C. However, today I'm here in this beautiful country called Honduras. I'm here visiting with Arts for Humanity, a wonderful ministry. Its mission is designed to end poverty. And I wish that you all can come and see what God is doing in this wonderful place, because it is an absolute miracle that I'm seeing that's taking place. Their mission here is to end poverty, one, through education. They're working with young women who are on the margins, whose lives are lived every day on the fringes. But here they're learning to speak English. Here they're learning to be able to envision a future for themselves, seeing themselves as entrepreneurs, and moving forward into leadership and how they can change their communities and ultimately their nation. This is something that I believe can be replicated globally around the world. My focus is working with urban youth, young men and women. And in the United States today, we're challenged because we're seeing that rather than most of our young people, especially in African American communities, rather than going to college where they can learn skills that will prepare them, for this digital age, where they can go off into the world and do great things, a lot of our young people are falling through the cracks of life, and most of them are ending up being incarcerated or being engaged in the criminal justice system. My goal is to decrease the number of young people we see that are being exposed to this system. And I found a wonderful way to begin to reach out to give them new hopes, new trajectory for life, and that is to partner with organizations like Art for Humanity. But one of my favorite projects that I've seen here is a project we call aquaponics. They're growing tilapia fish, and they're also learning to work with nature. They're growing plants here that actually have 60% protein, and they're learning to use these plants and recycle these plants to grow their own fish food. Not only just working with fish, their chickens, their rabbits, there are all kinds of things that they're using, and they're learning to take the cycles of nature, blend these things together for a self-sustaining life. This is an incredible opportunity. It yields entrepreneurial dreams. It will help them to create an economy for themselves where they can pull themselves out of poverty. They can take these concepts of aquaponics, they can take the life cycle of working with God's creation to grow produce and other things back into their communities where they can begin to generate jobs and develop opportunities for their children's future. Now, the blessing is this, is that we can take these same concepts of growing fish right out of your backyard, some of the farming techniques and things that they're learning here, or working with algae and growing things like duckweed and all kinds of algae in order to produce protein to feed these animals and to feed the fish. These same concepts we can take and bring urban children to an environment like this where they can learn the same skills, get the same knowledge and education, have the same opportunities to go back home to their own communities, and this can create jobs. Not only that, one is the health that we all need. Good health, eating healthy, eating well. This helps our brain, it helps our biological functions so that we can do excellent things. So our project is to partner, is to work with Arts for Humanity, bring young people from around the country so they can see and witness for themselves and learn and grow. And I believe this is the start of ending the cycles of poverty. Yes, poverty begins with how we think, but at the same time it can end with how we think by seeing a positive future, by seeing positive things that we can use and learn, things that God has created, and we can end these cycles of poverty. In the States, most people are struggling now with unemployment. They say the unemployment rate is pretty high. Here in Honduras, it's 75% unemployment. But on this particular land today, these kids are working to learn to end this cycle of poverty. The other thing is that this gives our young people opportunities and alternatives, whereby selling drugs, getting involved in promiscuous lives, they can see a fruitful future where they can have businesses for themselves, where they can teach their children's children to do likewise, and they can help their neighbors, not just in their communities, but around the world. We're going to be taking these same concepts, not just here in Honduras to the States, but we're going to take them where it's needed most, in some of the third world nations where there's severe poverty. This is how we end and shut down and decrease what we call this mass incarceration that we see taking place among our youth. This is the way that we work to prevent our young people from going into prison. And this is how we help them to see a greater promise. I want you to be a part of what's happening here in Honduras and with the Washington International Network. My invitation to you is to come and see this great thing that is happening in our world today. Thank you very much.